All right, another episode of Shop Talk on the Industrialist podcast. Week of December 4th. Almost time for the commercial real estate slumber.
Time to go night-night.
Here with me today is my co-host, Will Nardizzle.
What's
Doozy.
up? We had a fun week last week. You got to see a lot of people around town.
Yeah, we
at
did.
the Black Tie Brawl.
Yeah, Black Tie Brawl. That is always a fun night.
I think it's the best commercial real estate related, or a lot of people who participate in our business that go. I think it's one of the most fun events of the year.
No, it is. I always look forward to that, and it always ends up being way too late.
Mm-hmm.
Latham and I actually tried to have a conversation the night before about how we were not going to stay out too late, and sure enough, we did it again.
Yes,
and
always.
Yeah.
But it was good to see everybody last week. So if you're in Dallas and you're there, it was good to see you.
Yeah.
Sorry if we didn't get to spend as much time individually one-on-one, but
yeah,
it's always great to see buddies and friends and vendors there having a good time.
I actually rented a tux this year. That was kind of fun. I should have just bought it. It's $280. I'm like, golly, I'll use this again at some point, I would think.
Yeah. Your brother said the same thing to me. He's like, why didn't you just buy the tux? We do this every year now. I'm like, yeah, it's probably need to do that going forward. Right. Probably need to do that going forward.
So we are nearing the end of the year, and I was talking to LeMasters this morning, and he said, so does commercial real estate end this week or next week? I go, I think it ends next week.
Yeah. Hard.
So, but this week on financial news coming out, you got initial jobless claims coming out again this week. Forecast is 218,000. Previous was 209. And U.S. unemployment numbers are coming out this week on Friday, and looks to be at 3.9%, virtually unchanged. So on the Dow's up another 2.36% last week. I mean, golly, just put money in a Dow ETF right now. It's killing it. S&P was up a little about 0.7 of a point. NASDAQ was up about 0.4 of a point. Oil came down almost 2% to $74 a barrel. And the 5-year came down 8.6% to close out last week at 4.134. And the 10-year closed out at 4.2, down 6.4%. So rates are starting to come back to us.
A little bit. Jeff Zickafoos, our banker at Hamilton Realty, he made a comment about the 10-year. Him and I were on the phone last week or the week before. And remember probably about a month or a month and a half ago, things got kind of really tight and really expensive.
Yeah.
But I think sometime in October or November, I can't remember. But it really crushed the multifamily side. I've got some buddies who do a lot of land transactions over there. That market kind of froze up. But I forget. I got to get the notes on what occurred there, why it had a bull run. You probably would know.
I don't.
About the 10-year. But it would be good just to kind of get his thoughts or his data on it and just share that with everybody, because it was a significant movement in the market. I think it crept up to 4.6, almost 4.7. Yeah. And it really put a wrench in the engine. So
no, SOFR's hanging around 5.4, call it 5.39. So I don't know. There's a little movement back in the rates on that end of things if you're going out getting some agency debt. All right, let's talk about stock, like just commercial real estate stocks. REIT office up 1.36%. Man, God bless them. I just don't see me putting money into an office building ever. No. REIT retail's up 0.9 of a point. That was 1 day performance. 1 week performance. REIT office stocks are up 15.53%. So a ton of money went into REIT office stocks.
If you're in that world of tracking office REIT stocks, or you're a big leasing agent anywhere in the country, I would love to know what's going on there. Clearly, this is tied to either the financial markets or activity is up a lot. I'm not sure, but if anybody's got any insight onto why there's been an uptick, it'd be really interested to hear. I mean, I was under the assumption that the knife was going to keep on falling for that asset class. So
yeah, it feels
clearly not.
It looks like investors feel like it bottomed REIT industrial was up 5.42. But listen to this 1 month performance. REIT office is up 17.85%. Real estate development stocks are up 14.11%. So the two industrials up 12.81. So the top two performing stocks in publicly traded commercial real estate companies are the two classes that banks are running from like the plague.
Again, someone much smarter than us, please send Jeremy and I an email just kind of giving us a highlight or give us a phone call because that's really surprising
It's
to hear.
just interesting. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So let's see. Football picks for you degenerate commercial real estate gamblers. Did pretty good last week. Ponies got themselves a conference championship, beating up old Tulane. I took the Ponies at +4, won that one. Texas rolled Oklahoma State as I thought they would. Took that one as well. Alabama actually beat Georgia. I thought Alabama would just cover. I didn't think they'd beat them. And then we lost the Florida State-Louisville game. I really thought Florida State was going to struggle without their quarterback, and then their second-string quarterback was also out. So, but a lot of controversy in the college football world this past week because of the College Football Playoff Committee. Florida State being a Power 5 conference champion, undefeated, and doesn't get in. Man, I understand they don't have they're probably looking to make the best matchups for ratings, and Florida State doesn't have their starting quarterback, and maybe strength of schedule wasn't there. But damn, if I'm one of those kids, I'm pissed off. Like,
super.
So I don't know. Sucks for y'all. Texas, I thought Texas should have got in. So,
well, two things on that whole fiasco. One, does the 8-game, the pool enlarges next year?
To 12. It goes to 12.
Goes to 12 next year, not this year.
Not this year.
Sad.
Yeah. Well, this year proved that the system is broken. So
correct. Then two, did you see Pat McAfee's pick for Georgia, Alabama?
I started to look at what I saw, like a tweet about it or something.
Go watch it. It is hilarious. He gets all psyched up talking about Georgia, starts singing some song that's probably relevant to Georgia alumni or like the whole fan base there, and then does a classic like Lee Corso from 20 years ago where he just switches the pick at the end and goes to Alabama, and the whole place just erupts. It's like a total just fracture of emotions because Georgia people are so juiced up, and then he just lets it all rain on our head and picks Alabama. It's really good. Go look at it. It's funny. He's hilarious, that guy.
Yeah.
He's been grinding on that for a long time.
Well, if you didn't know what soaking was, you do now because of that guy. He loved to just rile up BYU on ESPN.
The gambling part is no reflection of Matador Capital's personal beliefs.
This is not financial advice.
It's not financial advice. It's not gambling advice. If you have any issues, please call your gambling hotline that's local to you.
Yeah. And that's not your bookie. That's your help hotline. We only really have one college game this week.
Which is?
Army-Navy.
Oh, good.
Big game in New York.
Yep.
Hosted in New York every year.
Is that Yankee Stadium this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. I mean, I think that's usually.
Sometimes it's at Lincoln Field in Philadelphia, but I don't really have a dog in the fight, so I'm not paying attention.
Well, the Black Knights are given 2.5 to the midshipmen.
Okay.
And I'm just going to go based. I don't really follow either one of these teams, so I'm going to go based on military record. Army beat the hell out of Air Force, and Air Force beat Navy. So I'm going with the Black Knights. I'm going to take them to cover. So that's this week. We will get into bowl games next week, which are a total mess because of who shows up, who transfers out.
Yeah.
I mean, OU quarterback hit the transfer portal this morning.
They should put a freeze on that.
I don't know. I have different sentiment on that.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I think coaches can leave.
Right. That's my point.
Right.
Coaches can leave at any time.
Yes.
For more money. So
I don't know. No comments from me.
And I think there's real reasons for kids to have to leave. I mean, college football is political.
It is
to some degree. And sometimes kids get put in a box and they can't get out of it. And the transfer portal has allowed those kids to leave and pursue their football career. Whereas wherever they're at, they're maybe never really getting a real shot. So I think the transfer portal is good. I think they probably need to maybe limit the amount of transfers, but I don't know. It was so punitive in the past to do it because of loss of eligibility and all that stuff. So,
well, you lived that life. I didn't, so I can't really speak from experience. You could.
Well, I looked at transferring and it was just too much. It was too hard.
Yeah.
So, okay. The term of the week, the commercial real estate bro term of the week.
Give it to us.
Bifurcate. So this is a word that people like to use to sound really, really smart when it really just means, let's separate these two issues. I was on a call with an asset manager and we were talking about a tenant that was renewing and then something else going on with the tenant. Let's bifurcate the issues here. And I was like, cool, man.
So it just basically means separate, divide.
Yeah. It's like a fork in the road, right? It's like, hey, these are two separate things to talk about here. But it sounds really smart.
I feel like a lot of these terms start in tech and they somehow bleed over to our business.
Maybe, yeah. So, but anyways.
Bifurcate.
So if you want to really work that in sometime this week, it's always fun to show how smart you are.
Man, that would really, I feel like, irritate a lot of people, the people that we work with. Imagine getting
try it this week. Just like you're talking to some broker and be like, well, let's bifurcate these issues.
Well, like, think about the deal we're doing right now, like on 35.
Yeah.
Like, if we use that term, talking to the seller, even brokers being involved, like, man, they would think we're a bunch of hoity-toity. Like, they'd be like, what what is this word? It would get, our credibility, just throw it right out the freaking window.
Yeah.
But interesting. So we'll circle back to that term.
Yeah. Huddle up if you got any questions.
Okay.
So, all right.
Great.
So, we lost one of the world's top investors last week. Charlie Munger passes at 99 years old.
Incredible run he had.
Yeah, him and Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway, running operating companies. Charlie Munger actually got his law degree from Harvard, moved to L.A. to become a real estate attorney, did 5 real estate development deals and said, I'm out. So worked out for him, but kind of be interesting to see what that guy would have been if he was a real estate developer for life. Probably would have been extremely successful. So,
yeah.
So anyways, stay hard, Charlie Munger. So, and interesting piece of news. I think this is a very interesting thing. Mark Cuban is selling majority stake in the Mavericks.
I saw that on Twitter. The guy who does all the apartments and the opportunity zones, I forget his name.
Oh, Barrett?
Yeah. He seems like a really well put together guy.
Yeah,
but I saw that on Twitter and I was totally taken aback. So what's a genesis on here? What's the story?
So he's selling it to the Alderson family,
who are they?
The Sands Investment Group.
Okay, so we getting
Las Vegas Sands?
Okay.
I don't think they're doing this because we're not getting casinos. Wow. I mean, they really should have casinos in Texas, which will drive industrial demand as well because
holy smokes, man.
I don't know why we don't have it. They estimate in here that $8 billion a year of illegal gambling goes on in Texas. Like, you're not capturing any of that. Like, so they're paying $3.5 billion pending league approval. What did Cuban pay for the Mavericks?
If my memory serves me correctly, like 200 million is the number it's in my brain. I don't recall.
Buy the Mavs for? What did he buy the Mavs for? $285 million from Ross Perot Jr. to $3.5 billion. Bought it in 2000, so 23 years.
He put a lot of sweat equity into that, though.
Well, he's going to continue to manage it.
Okay, but think about what he did right there along Stemmons.
Yeah,
in the stadium. I mean,
no,
he put a lot out there to get it to where it's at. So I'm thinking about what the Glazers have done with Manchester United, and they have done almost nothing to a Hallmark brand, and they want a 5 or 6x on their cash,
right?
And zero sweat equity or care given in the world to the club. But I mean, Cuban is just, he's changed Dallas in that area. I think as a whole, with just what he's done with the Mavs,
it's like 112x return on his money.
Geez, oh, Pete.
Not including profits off the company.
Yeah.
But no, I think this is, I mean, why would Las Vegas Sands be coming here other than to put in gambling?
There's a massive real estate place that's going to occur somewhere in that 2-mile radius.
I think, honestly, I think it happens over there. And it seems like Grand Prairie has always kind of had that land kind of earmarked for near the horse track for casinos. It seems like everybody says the reservations from Oklahoma own them. But
you don't think they go down to the Cedars or somewhere south?
They could.
He's got some land. There's some assemblage.
He does have all that land.
He's got a lot of assemblage down there. And knowing him, he's a shark.
Yeah. He's got all that land near the Dallas Zoo. He's owned it for a while.
Yeah.
Off of Keast.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that area's the hood.
It's not Class A core.
It's infill.
It is. It's great. I mean, it's worth something to somebody.
It'll be very interesting. I think Cubans always wanted to get into the casino business, so I think this has to be what the play is. Why, he needs them with their feet entrenched in ownership in Texas. Yeah. And then they go out and build a casino together.
It's a great business, man, when it's humming.
They tried to pass it back in May, a casino, something in the state legislature, because we have to change the state constitution for this to happen.
Okay. So how it works.
That's what the internet told me. So, anyways, yeah, and he's leaving Shark Tank
because of it, or
after the 16th season, he's leaving. So, but yeah, it has to be, right. It's like, hey, look, I ain't got time for this. I'm opening a casino.
I'm doing some big boy stuff.
Yeah, this was cute.
400,000 in EBITDA.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
So that's pretty interesting. So what do you got, Will? What'd you see last week?
It felt like, and I've seen a lot of this recently, people commenting on Twitter or just conversations casually over the phone or over lunch, where people are starting to kind of see an uptick in activity. And, we've seen an uptick in activity the last 2 weeks in terms of deal submission, then leasing.
Yeah.
Our most of our portfolio sizes are under 25,000 feet, the majority of them. And I think our portfolio right now, it's mostly 7,000 feet and below. Yeah. But there's been a lot of activity the last 2 weeks from tenants and then just trade activity. Nothing's really stuck, but I've been pretty excited with some of the submissions we've had.
Yeah.
They're going to be tough to finance. So looking at a couple of different ways to carve it up, but I don't really have any data points on why it's upticked. I don't know if it's just people trying to close by the end of the year or they're finally just getting around to it. So nothing tangible to tie to, but just an observation. Bigger tenants have a story out of the Northeast. Had lunch with a guy. Dallas is still a hot area to move to. A tenant's moving out of the Northeast looking for 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 feet. In the Metroplex, it's just easier to ship goods. It's also much more cost effective to get to, Denver, Los Angeles from here. And so going from I-95, New Jersey, New York to Los Angeles, Denver, Chicago, it's cheaper to do it from here. So that story still is applicable. Yeah. Especially as Houston's growing. So there's just a lot of great things going on with the Texas Triangle. So pay attention if you're operating down here. Activity is not totally shut off. But
are you trying to work in the Texas Triangle because I have made whispers of I might buy something in Houston?
No. The third leg, although I prize it, I'm not. We haven't opened up that flood valve yet, but I mean, they all feed off of each other.
No, they do.
They do, but yeah, that's just kind of what I've been seeing. Don't really have many data points, but the lending market's still really tough, man.
So you just bifurcated from the acquisition market to the lending market.
Yeah.
So,
two separate issues.
Yeah.
And then further bifurcated with leasing.
Yeah. No, lending is tough. Lending, we called our go-to guy on a deal. The property appraised for $300,000-$400,000 more than what we're paying for it. And we were like, hey, if we had to pivot to you on a deal, would you do this deal? And he's like, Probably not. No appetite for spec. It's fully leased, mark to market type deal, but
it's urban infill, not core.
Tilt wall. Yeah. It's a nice product, but
it's very nice.
Anyways, it was just interesting to hear that we probably wouldn't do it.
No appetite, zero.
So the lending world is still weird, and they need deposits.
Yeah. There's no movement in spreads. Spreads are still the same.
Yeah.
Rates have kind of gotten a little soft, but nothing material to really change market dynamics.
I saw on Twitter someone said, "Oh, there will be 6 rate reductions next year." I was like, "Bro, I don't think there's gonna be one. I think they keep it."
I'm with you.
Like, if we got one, I think people will go bonkers.
Well, that's my fear. Is like if we drop 25 to 50 bips, is that just putting gasoline on a fire that's smoldering?
Yeah, it kind of is.
There's so much alleged money out there. Like, are we going to accidentally restart a massive bonfire?
Yeah. Good.
And then are we just going to get on this hamster wheel of just, okay, we started the fire grew out of control. Now we need to put it back out again. And then just cyclically, just over a couple of years, just round and round and round.
Yeah.
So I think Ross Perot Jr. recorded something with Bill Cauley, or he was I forget the scenario, but this was maybe 18, 24 months ago, where he said, we just need to break the cycle. And it's not politically favorable to anybody involved to just take rates from 3 to 9.
Yeah.
Right? No, that just nuclearizes the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I'm totally paraphrasing, but I believe his thought process was to avoid what I just described.
Yeah.
Like restarting a fire, gets too hot, put it back out again, which I think is more damaging holistically to the economy. I'm not an economist by any stretch of the means, but you have inflation, then you put it down. It can't be good.
Yeah. So, well, I don't think we're going to get that many rate drops next year. I think it's going to be a tough year.
Man, as tough it is to do deals right now, it's so much fun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, you just got to think of a better mousetrap.
Yeah. And it's really creative. And there's not this rush to get an LOI out, do a deal. Oh my God, there's 5 other guys. My face is against the grill. I got to do it.
Yeah.
It's okay. I have felt less pressure.
Yeah.
And, you, me, Joey, the rest of the team, we all sit down and let's look at the cards we've had to use the last 5 years, or the last 2 years. Which card do we want to play on this one? Is it a seller carry note? Is it all cash? What menu are we coming up with to do this deal? And it's really fun.
Yeah.
It puts the fun back in the job.
Yeah.
And
well, the whole not having the pressure is nice.
It's great.
Yeah.
I've had people the last 2 weeks, we got to get LOI out today. Why?
Yeah. Is there a line for these things anymore?
And there's really never a rebuttal. And I think, unfortunately, just times are becoming very uncomfortable for brokers, and I totally get it, because they get paid off their time, they get paid off for transactions, and it's just been really tough for them. And so the call to action's been pretty tight.
Right. Well, it's been pretty easy too for the past couple of years.
Yeah, and it's just, and there's no reason to participate in it.
Yeah.
When
just wait for the next one.
Yeah.
We're too slow. Okay.
Well,
but we're not. That's the thing.
Well, we're not. And the thing, I get to the numbers because we work in the dollar amounts that are in the millions every day.
Yeah.
Right? And we all do, including brokers and tenants. And so you get numb to the numbers of how big they actually are.
Yeah.
And Joey, our COO, on Friday afternoon, we were just talking about man, we're making a multi-million-dollar decision. The levity in which we operate sometimes is just, you have to be careful to not just get careless.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to, it's a very serious, and Joey was just talking about it. He's like, man, some people just don't understand. We play with other people's money. It's not our own capital internally. If we were the whole capital stack.
But yeah.
But I mean, if we were the whole equity, I mean, maybe there's some different parameters you look at it. But when you're playing with other people's money, part of it's our own.
Yeah.
This is a very serious decision.
Yeah.
And I'm just enjoying the time that we have right now to really anchor into a deal, really understand it, look at it a couple different ways, and deploy fresh capital to a really awesome transaction. So I'm not, I don't really feel the pressure to perform right now.
Well, still want to perform.
Still want to, yes, of course. But we know there's no reason to have a 9mm against your head to get it done.
No. Mm-mm. But we will move quickly.
We do.
And we're still very active, and we are papered up and ready to go. So if you got something, send it to us.
As I've told multiple people, we're ready, willing, and able to perform. And I feel like we have. There's been opportunities that we've seen the last 2-3 weeks that, it's like, okay, well, the mandate is to close by the end of the year. Let's try to close all cash. Yeah. So we're ready, willing, and able to move for the right opportunities. And I like sitting in the driver's seat right now. It's a unique opportunity that we've had compared to the last 2 years.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up. Again, guys, we're always looking for B&C industrial assets in Texas, Oklahoma markets, and we'll be back next week.
See ya.
See ya.